You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good evening, everyone, and welcome into this week's edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Here we go. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Thanks for taking the time out of your Monday night and tuning into this week's edition of the show. It's brought to you by Caisse Financial Group, Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, and TOVI Hockey. Getting a later start tonight because made some arrangements because my guest wouldn't be at home in time if we were to do it earlier at 8 p.m. Central Time. That's why the show is starting at 8:30 p.m. Central Time here tonight. And there's only going to be one guest on the show. That is Bryce Kohler of the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue Team in the Hockey Super League. Bryce is going to come on the show in this week's edition of the MCN Sports Advising segment to talk about the season he's having as well as the season his team is having. And then after that, we'll dive into his time with MCN and the great stuff that has been happening with Bryce and what MCN has been able to do for him. So sit back, relax, everybody, and enjoy tonight's edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV.
Wow!
And we don't have Bryce quite on the show yet, just getting some messages from him here in the private chat in StreamYard, the service that we use to conduct our interviews here on ASTV, saying that my sound is very messed up on his side of things and that it's all slow. So we are going to head to a commercial break here prematurely. Oh, I'm going to get Bryce back on the show in just a moment here. I jumped the gun on that one, folks. But we are going to throw it to a commercial break, and we will try to get our technical difficulties sorted out. We're watching the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions, hoping for it to start coming up after this commercial break. So stick with us while we sort things out.
Welcome to Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot-Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions, everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties we are experiencing so far. I'm thinking that it might just be a glitch because it seems like my mic just did not sound very well on Bryce's side of things. So I'm going to see, because I do not see him backstage at this point, see if Bryce can hear me here. Bryce, are you able to hear me better? Or is it still, it's good now?
Yeah.
We're good? Okay, right on.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
It's time to finally start this week's edition of the Prospect Show. Thanks for coming on, Bryce. I know that you had a practice earlier on today. Obviously a busy life with Academy Hockey. We'll get into, all the things that Academy Hockey has had in store for you this season, but this is the MCN Sports Advising segment. I'll ask you about that later on in the show, but just the season you've been having so far, man. 30 points in 32 games. The team's sitting at 26-4-1. I mean, got to be pretty satisfied with the season you've been able to have so far, as well as what the team's been able to do.
Yeah, definitely. We have a pretty good organization, pretty good team. Saints Pro Hockey Academy, we are very good. Yeah.
Obviously it's Academy Hockey, right? Playing in the Hockey Super League. What was the decision? What did it come down for yourself to choose the Saints Pro Hockey Academy as that next place to play?
Well, originally I played on a team called Team Revolution, and I started up there. It was like a training team, which helped me really develop a lot. And it got me to a place where I was just barely good enough to make this Saints team. And then once I made this Saints team, it was about 3 years ago, it really took off. My career started to really take off.
Talk about how, the training that you were doing with the team before you played on this Pro Saints hockey team has really helped you, be able to take that next step of playing in this league, in the Hockey Super League, with the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue Squad that you're on this season.
Yeah. The training we do is very, very good. It's every day we have workout, skate in the morning, and then some days we even skate after the morning skate. So training is really, really good.
Yeah, nice to be able to have that. Is just talking about the adjustment, what was the adjustment like for yourself to be able to do these day-to-day things like training, especially, as well as playing, a high level of hockey like you're playing at right now in the Hockey Super League. Talk about that, what that adjustment has been like for you this season.
Well, it's kind of normal, honestly, because like I said before, the team that I used to play on, it was a lot of training like crazy. So I'm just used to it.
You put up 30 points this season in 32 games played, more assists than goals. You got 11 goals, 19 assists. Just tell the viewers what type of player you are, what type of player that people will be expecting or should be expecting to see when you step out on the ice.
I like to think of myself as a fast forechecking forward, pretty good gritty player. I can support like good players, goal scorers. Right now, that's what my job is. I'm not a goal scorer. I like to think that I'm pretty good at passing, but I think my strong point would be like speedy, relentless, forechecking, hard forward. Does all the stuff that no one really notices, all the getting pucks to good players and stuff, hits, good at hitting. Like to think myself of that type of player.
Right, and I have seen some video clips of you playing, and you definitely aren't afraid to throw some hits out there. From what I saw, you're on a bit of the smaller side of things, or would you say that you're on the smaller side of things out there as a player?
I'm definitely a lighter player. I'm not. I don't know if I'm smaller. I'm just average size. I'm not going to be obviously like 6'5" or anything crazy. Yeah, just regular size.
Yeah,
special for that.
I'm about 5'6" myself. It would be nice.
Yes, I'm 5'8".
5'8". So you got 2 inches on me. There you go. And you're
Yeah.
only 14 years old. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got, you could have some time to grow, but nonetheless, I mean, being a smaller player, nothing wrong with that, being on the slighter side of things. How important is it for you to be able to showcase that grit out there, use what is given to you in terms of the size that you have out there. How important do you feel it is in your game to be able to get into those gritty areas?
I think it's very important because in the next level up, it's going to be like I'm not going to be the biggest guy. I already know that. I'm not going to be the best goal scorer. I'm going to have to be gritty. I'm going to have to play smart, really play definitely on the smarter side and like good body position and stuff on guys so I can figure out like ways to get around stuff like that.
What have you felt this season that, maybe not in other seasons was as much as a factor in your game, but this season, specifically, what is there been something in your game that you felt has stepped up in terms of something that wasn't a strong point for you before this year?
Yes, definitely. This year we kind of figured out like I've been doing a lot of training and stuff and lots of stick handling and all that stuff. I train a lot and I just was always wondering why not everything was like clicking together. And we started to do like training, like brain training and all this stuff. Like every night I do this thing that helps my like processing speed and like I track these things and stuff and it helps me like think faster on the ice, make better decisions quicker. And I've also been like studying plays and doing stuff like that to help me like get smarter and yeah, make better plays and all that and think faster and have a higher processing speed.
Right, and that's just such a huge part of the game, right? Because the
Yeah.
older you get, the faster the game will be. The higher the level you play, the faster the game will be. So really, it comes down to that reaction time, reacting what is out there. And it's great to know
Yeah.
that you're,
Hockey
addressing this
sense.
at an early age. Yeah, hockey sense as well. How huge do you feel like it is now to address this in your game rather than, waiting, to find out that it is something that you needed to figure out?
Oh, this is like it's the probably one of the biggest things. Like there's guys in the NHL even that are not the biggest guys, maybe not like as skilled as other NHLers, but they're just smarter. They have higher processing speed, higher hockey sense. That's probably the biggest thing in the game besides like skating.
Let's move in now into the success your team has had this season. Second place in the Hockey Super League, 26-4-1 season, 213 goals for, which is the most out of any team in the league, and 83 goals against. But just talking about the offense, a loaded offense at that, Antonio Martirano with 45 goals, 4 different players with 20 plus goals. Just to be able to see the offense do what they've been able to do this season, definitely been a huge part of this team's success, I'd have to think. And we might have been going into some more technical difficulties here. I'm going to remove Bryce from the screen because it seems like he cannot hear me right now.
Yeah, is those guys are natural goal scorers. Some of them, like my job is to just support those guys and get those guys the puck. Oh,
We're going to, yeah. So he did end up answering the question, but yeah, it seemed like it was super laggy there. So we're going to take yet another commercial break here on the Prospect Show, folks. Not too sure how many I'm going to be able to run here, but I'm going to try to sort out the problems here in the broadcast tonight with the only guest in tonight's episode on this week's edition of the Prospect Show. In number 71 for the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 blue team in the Hockey Super League, Bryce Kohler on this edition of the Prospect Show. Stick around for more after the commercial break. Welcome back to the Prospect Show, everybody. Hoping to get Bryce Kohler back on here in just a moment. But yeah, tonight's edition of the show, of course, brought to you by TOVI Hockey. Be sure to check them out on their website. Not too sure what the website is off the top of my head, but I'm sure if you type in TOVI Hockey on whatever browser you use, you should be able to find their site and all the good products that they have. So definitely should check it out because they definitely got some cool stuff, cool equipment for some hockey players to try out. Not to try out, but to buy and to try out, I guess. That's the way I should put it. But Bryce Kohler on the show back again. Bryce, there was a bit of a lag in, from my question to when you answered. Is it a bit better now? You can hear me better
Yeah,
again?
I can hear you better now.
Okay, right on. So we will continue here. We shall continue just talking about your team, and we haven't really dove into it yet in terms of the whole team aspect. So I'll ask you the question again, just to rephrase it. But looking at this offense, I mean, a 45 goal score out of the 213 goals that this team has scored, and Antonio Martirano, 4 different 20-plus goal scorers as well to go along with Martirano's goal totals, but just talk about how nice it's been to be a part of this offense and to see this offense really go out and do their thing this season.
Yeah, it's amazing how good these guys are at scoring. They are not some of these guys are natural goal scorers. My job is just support these guys and get these guys the puck. It like, yeah,
Do you feel like playing with this much talent that your game can only improve? It can only go up because you're playing with so many good players that have so many good habits out there.
yeah, it's really fun to watch and play with those guys. Yeah, like they are very confident players too.
Talk about just how nice it's been to have the type of depth that this team has had this season. Of course, you have 11 goals this year. Of course, goal scoring not being your forte. You know, you being more of that player that does the things behind the scenes. But you know, you along with all the players except for I think one player on the team and the 2 goalies haven't scored. I mean, to have that type of depth, definitely nice. Considering that playoffs, I assume for this league is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, it is. It's coming up on March 10th.
Oh, right on, right on. So must be exciting to know that on March 10th, so meaning on Thursday, that this team is starting off their potential playoff run.
Yeah.
But moving back into the depth, how huge do you think that that's going to be for this team heading into the playoffs and as you boys try to make a run?
I think it's really huge. We've been doing lots of extra stuff to like get us to be good in these playoffs. The coaches and everyone that's helping this organization is really helping us and setting us up for success. Yeah.
Talk about the coaching staff, obviously, like you said, setting this team up for success. How nice has it been to work with these coaches throughout this season, you know, to learn the stuff that they've been teaching you guys?
Oh, these coaches they are like this is such high level coaching. All the program, the academy, everything we do is super high end stuff. Like I don't know if it gets much better than this. Like it's very good.
You know, special teams for this team, I'm not sure what the stats are there, but talk about how this team's power play has looked, you know, now that, well, at this time where we're talking about the offense, we'll talk about the defense a bit later on here coming up, but just talk about that power play, how it's been looking for this team this season, how it's been executing.
It's been executing really well. I mean, you can tell too from some of the stats. Um, we practice it so much, so that's probably another big factor there. We've done it like this team has been together for I don't know 6 years. I joined it 3 years ago, and there was me and one other guy that joined it, and then there's been Kronowitz. Those guys have been like they've been setting up the power play and doing that for a very long time for these kids. So it's comes natural to them where to go and stuff.
You just spoke about how you've been on this team for 3 years. Guys, other guys on the team have been on this team for about 6 years with this program. But just talk about
Yeah, a long time.
for the 3 years you've been with this program, obviously being a good amount of time. How have you felt that you've been able to just find your place on this team as years have gone along, into being in the best position that you can be to give this team the success?
Uh, it's been really good. Like every year, I've been improving so much. Yeah, it's just great.
Let's move into this team's defense now. Only 83 goals against. Talk about this team's their strengths defensively to only give up this amount of goals, only 83 goals against in about the 32 games that this team has played.
Yeah, our defensive core are really good. Our head coach is actually he was with the Montreal Canadiens for I don't know 3 or 5 years or something like that. He's very smart when it comes to defense, and he definitely helps them a lot with that stuff. And also, our goalies are really good. We have a girl on our team, and she's I'd like to think that she's one of the top 10 in Alberta.
Wow, that's some pretty high praise. Must feel pretty confident when she's out there in the net.
Yeah.
Interesting point you brought up, though. Not point, but interesting thing you brought up about your head coach being a former Montreal Canadiens coach. I mean, how cool has that been to have a chance to work with a coach that's coached at as high as a level as the NHL?
It's awesome. We actually have 3 coaches that are
Wow.
have been with the NHL. We got Steven Gertzen, Sean Bell, and then Boyd Olson. And there's probably more, and they don't even say it. I don't know, but it's really great. There's lots of opportunity there.
Yeah, that's unreal to be able to learn from not only one but all 3 coaches. And like you said, there could be many more, but they just haven't said it if they've done it. But how have you thought that this team has been able to, as a whole unit, cover in the defensive zone? It just doesn't come down to the defense and the goaltenders in the D zone, but also the forwards as well being able to help out. How have you felt that as a collective unit this team has been able to defend this season?
I think that our defense is pretty good. We probably practice that even more than our offense because our offense is pretty good. So we focus on the things that we need more work on, and I think that it's pretty good.
We spoke about power play here earlier on, not earlier on, but just a bit ago. Talking about the penalty kill, though, I got to ask you: do you have a spot on the penalty kill, or does this team just roll their players through as their set units at all out there on the power plays and PKs?
It depends actually who we're playing. So there's a couple teams that are not as great in our league, and we kind of just roll everybody, and everybody gets opportunity in that game. And then there's another team that we play, the other Saints Gray team. We kind of have like set lines for that and set partners, kind of.
That's good to know. Good to know that you boys, well, this team prioritizing the matchups out there. When to have set lines, when not to. But have you had a chance to play on any of those set PK lines this season?
Yes, I have. I've had lots of opportunities to do that. But,
Right on.
yeah.
Right on. And what have what's your experience been with that this season, being able to play on the PK? I mean, not just the PK this season, but throughout your whole career. I mean, what makes you such an effective player out there on the PK?
Probably like stick positioning, always being aware like where my defenseman is. Always yeah, like always being aware, being pretty agile, able to react to different situations.
Would you say that this PK has been pretty solid this season, similar to the power play, or has there been some struggles with the PK this year?
Um, There's been a little bit, but like it's still really, really good. I think we have a really good system, and I like the way that our coach does it, and it works really, really well. Just comes down to how hard the players work.
This team you're playing on this year, the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue Team, in second place, behind the other Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 team, which is the Gray team, obviously being two top teams in the league this season. Obviously, there could be a chance that you boys face off against that team in the playoffs. I mean, just go back to what the rivalry's been like with the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Gray team this season for this squad that you're on.
Well, so that team actually used to be called the Gorillas, and our team and their team have been playing each other for 6 years. So it's like there's some guys there that we've known for so long, and we've played. That team has been a rivalry for a long time, and they actually just got changed to Saints this year. So it's always been a rivalry.
We'll touch on that a bit later on here in this interview before we go to commercial break. But, obviously the team finishing with a 26-4-1 record shows that players on this team played 32 games. So I'm not too sure if I got the record wrong or not. But this team being in second place this season, setting yourselves up nicely to potentially go on a big playoff run. What's the preparation like now, knowing that playoffs are so close to being here on March 10th? What's the mindset heading into that first round playoff matchup?
Is this for me or my team?
It's for you. I mean, the team, just in general. I mean, what do you feel like the mindset is like throughout the dressing room? Getting ready for this upcoming playoff matchup.
I think it's great. We do extra stuff after practice, just on our own, to get ready for playoffs. Everybody's been talking about this. Everyone's ready to go. And like in our practices, everyone's going really hard and pretty prepared for this.
How excited are you personally to be able to have a chance to get back to playing in playoff hockey, with everything that's been going on in the past 2 years?
I'm very excited. I think I haven't played playoffs in like 2 years or something like that, because we had playoffs and then got canceled, and then the next year it didn't even happen, and the season didn't even happen. So it's been 2 years since I've been at playoffs.
I'll have one last question for you here, Bryce, before we head to another commercial break, and then we'll talk about MCN Sports Advice and stuff after that. But, for this team, what you feel like this team is going to need to shore up? Is there anything you feel like the team needs to shore up, in your opinion, to be able to have the most success as possible out there? Or do you feel like this team is at the right spot they're at right now where, hey, we just got to keep doing what we've been doing because those things have been working?
I think that just every guy has got to bring their everything, and like not take anything easy. Every game has to be as hard as they can. I think that we should be ready for this.
Well, it's starting up very soon for your team. Best of luck in the playoffs to you and the rest of the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue team here coming up in the Hockey Super League playoffs. But Bryce, we are going to move into another commercial break. Stick with me though, because coming up, I'm going to ask you about all things to do with MCN Sports Advising. That's coming up after this commercial break with number 71 of the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue team in the Hockey Super League, Bryce Kohler, on this edition of the Prospect Show. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Got to put another banner up because it is the MCN Sports Advising segment here on this week's edition of the Prospect Show. Joining me on this week's edition of the MCN Sports Advising segment is Bryce Kohler, forward for the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue Team. We've been talking all things about his hockey team this year, this interview so far, but it's time now to talk about MCN. MCN Sports Advising. I'm not sure how long you've been with MCN, but tell us, the viewers, when you started being advised by MCN Sports Advising.
I started this year, but I've known Matt for, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years. He's been my trainer for a while. We're pretty good friends with him. So, yeah.
How nice was that to have that familiarity before making this decision to, go with MCN Sports Advising, of knowing the owner, knowing what he's all about, and knowing what he can offer out there for yourself and the other athletes with MCN, all that going into your decision, I assume, before you chose MCN to be that place for you to be advised by.
That definitely helped a lot, because we know him really well. I'd rather go with someone I know really well than someone I don't know. We definitely trust him and everything like that. And he's a very helpful person in my life.
What were those years of training like, with Matt, obviously before MCN, but, just having that relationship beforehand of him being your trainer, knowing what he's all about?
Yeah, he's helped me a lot with a lot of training. I've done quite a bit of stuff with him, and really hard stuff, and that's definitely helped a lot.
Obviously, MCN Sports Advising just doesn't emphasize being advisors and the training, but as well as the education side of things. How huge do you think that's going to be as a benefit as time goes along here with you being with MCN Sports Advising, just with the education side of things?
It's definitely a big factor. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. Sometimes that's one question that always stumps the boys from MCN.
Yeah.
But so you've been training with Matt for a long time before this. Have you been able to do training with him since joining MCN?
Sorry, say that again.
Have you been able to do training with Matt, continue training with MCN since you've been with them?
Yeah, I have a guy that I talk to after every game that helps me with positioning, and it's not Matt, but it's a guy with them. And like yesterday, I just skated with him, so yeah, I definitely still train with him.
Right on. How huge is it, to have those things after a game, to have someone, giving you, good advice, good critical feedback in terms of things that you could do better out there as a player?
I'm just really thankful to have it. I'm really lucky to have that. I don't know of any other kid my age that really has that, and it just helps with everything. Every game I get better from it.
Has there been any words that Matt has stood out to you, that Matt has said to you that has stood out since he has been your advisor in terms of advice to how to handle, certain situations out there as an athlete?
I don't know if I can think of any words. No, I don't know if I can think of any words. No, not that specific words that he said.
Yeah, no worries. I'll leave you with this one, Bryce. In your opinion, after having some time spending it with MCN, knowing Matt Gorman, what he's all about, being able to train with him, what MCN does as well. What do you think? Why do you think that hockey players out there that might be looking for an advisor, that need an advisor, should go with MCN Sports Advising as that place?
I think that they should go with him because he's a very generous guy. He really cares about his kids or whatever you call it. He really cares about his athletes. There's a lot of people that are in it that can help you with different things. And yeah.
Well, Bryce, thanks for coming on and talking about your experience with MCN so far. Hoping the best for you with them as the future does go along, for you to continue to have a great relationship with Matt and the rest of the staff there. And once again, I'll wish you and the boys on the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue Team the best of luck in the playoffs coming up. You take care, Bryce, and we'll talk in the future maybe for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Bryce Kohler, number 71 of the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue Team in the Hockey Super League, joining the show here on this Monday night on the Prospect Show. He is the only guest in tonight's show. And yeah, can't wait to have some more great guests coming up in next week's edition of the Prospect Show and on this segment of MCN Sports Advising. I was thinking of doing something else here on the Prospect Show tonight, but I could not get this guest on the show. I was going to have Jared down on the show to talk about the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League playoffs, talking about what's been going on there. I'm pretty sure they've started up playoffs already, but they're pretty close to it. But when I do talk to Jared, the playoffs, they will have results for sure. But I have not checked out that league in a long time, just in terms of the standings. But know that there's some very good talent in that league. But Jared wanted me to tell all the viewers that he will be releasing a multi-thread preview for each series on his show, the AAA Show. So from the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League. So he'll be releasing a multi-thread preview for each series. He'll do one per day on his Twitter for this week. So his Twitter, or not his, I'm pretty sure it's on our Twitter actually. So you can check us out on Amateur Sports TV. And if Jared does decide to just put it on his Twitter, I'll get his Twitter handle up here. Well, not up on the screen, but just to tell you guys, you can search him up on Twitter if he does post there at Jared Down. That is his personal Twitter account. But pretty sure that what he meant by the text there is that it will be released a multi-thread, one per day for each series on Amateur Sports TV on Twitter. Just want to see if I read that right. Let's see. Yeah, so check that out. Some great content coming up from Jared Down and ASTV coming up this week on Twitter at Amateur Sports TV. But we are going to take a commercial break now, folks. And after this next commercial break, it's time for this week's edition of Player Breakdown, edition number 11, with the guest of tonight's episode in Bryce Kohler, number 71 of the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue Team. You're watching the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. You're watching ASTV Productions is what I was going to say at first. You're watching the Prospect Show at ASTV Productions is what I ended up saying and what I should have said at first. But yeah, coming up after the break, folks, 11th edition of Player Breakdown up next here on ASTV. And we're back on this edition of the Prospect Show. Sorry about that, folks, for the blank screen once again. Seems like nothing but technical difficulties here tonight. Tried running the commercial break. It wasn't playing. I had to restart the computer. I loaded up my browser at first. That didn't work, so that's why I ended up restarting my computer. But we're here again. Welcome back to the Prospect Show. It's great to be back on this Monday night. In terms of runtime, we got 42 minutes left since this show does technically go until 10 p.m., but we will be done way before that. I'm hoping that I don't drag on too long here on this week's edition of Player Breakdown, everybody. This is what we'll be ending off with tonight on the Prospect Show, as we do for all of our editions of the Prospect Show since Player Breakdown has been a thing. But it's edition 11 of this segment, and I will be breaking down the game from some clips that I was sent from Matt Gorman, owner of MCN, special thanks to him, of Bryce Kohler, number 71 of the Saints Pro Hockey Academy U15 Blue Team. And for Bryce this season, he has put up 30 points in 32 games, 11 goals, 19 assists. He has 50 penalty minutes. I didn't ask him about that, but definitely goes into the edge he plays with, I'm assuming, with the penalties that he's taken, but I'm not too sure. But there is quite a bit that I feel like Bryce still does have to work on his game, but he's continuing to develop, continuing to improve, and he's still young. He's 14 years old. He's an 07, so I'm pretty sure he is eligible for the WHL draft coming up. And yeah, he's put up solid point production. Like he said, he's not that type of player that is going to put up the huge offensive numbers, the goals, stuff like that. To be honest, just watching the tape, the goal that he did end up scoring was in that dirty area. So this is the player that goes to the dirty areas, does all the things behind the scenes. And there are some times in this video where I will say that Bryce can put some defenders on ice, literally, since they do play on ice. But yeah, let's get into it now, folks. We'll run the tape and we'll go through it as always. Well, I'll go through it as always, and you guys will be listening or watching. I hope so, anyways. But yeah, let's load it up. So right off the bat, these are going to be really quick clips. So let's see if we can get an overlay in here to make it really pop. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I do want to also identify the source here and give it its props for this video. So yeah, number 71, Bryce Kohler. Special thanks to Matt Gorman for sending this in to me, owner of MCN. But let's get into it now, folks. So yeah, right off the bat here, you're going to see Bryce getting physical down there, down low in the zone. You're going to see Bryce here. He's going to end up having this stripped away from him. And I will say that on this one, when he's carrying the puck, I would like to see Bryce hold it more onto the forehand, even though he does have it on his forehand, making himself a more dangerous option. Having that puck, like the great Pavel Barber says, in the money spot, where it just makes you such a deceptive player. But here, if he is able to pull this puck wider, you know, maybe drag it in. If he had this puck out wider to begin with, maybe do a toe drag, he maybe could have been able to evade that opposition on that clip there. And even maybe he could have done one of those moves where he slides the puck through the defender's stick. But the game happens so fast. But you're going to see here, Bryce coming in. And a nice attempt on the pass, but I'm pretty sure it ended up missing the clip. Cut off pretty early there. I did not edit this, by the way. This was edited before I got it. But we will see here. And not too sure if that pass would have gotten there. It was a bit of a flutter, but I do believe actually that maybe that teammate that he passed to got it. I'm not too sure though, but you're going to see here, Bryce not getting a lot on that shot. really, when you look at it, he shoots not in the greatest position to shoot that puck. You can see he's trying to quick release that up top. It seems like that's what he was trying to be. That's what he was trying to do, but was not able to get much power on the shot, and the goalie was able to make the save there. Bryce with the shot again. Better wind up there, but the goalie able to turn it aside. You're going to see Bryce here getting physical, not afraid to get physical. He's going to rush the puck up here. But once again, not having it on that forehand, out wide on the forehand. He didn't have it on the forehand that time around. Had it on the backhand when that got stripped away. But as you can see here, if Bryce, if he can make that fake, or not that fake, that move a bit quicker, he looks like he could potentially gain a step on that defenseman and potentially get a chance. But the defenseman with a good stick there kept good positioning and shut down Bryce. But you're going to see Bryce here get into those dirty areas in tight. And I'm not sure if he actually touched it. And it was actually an own goal. But just Bryce, just being in that spot in those dirty areas, being in tight. If that puck ends up going by that defenseman there, that player covering number 91 was covering number 71. Or was in front of the net along with number 71 and Bryce Kohler. Just for that defenseman ends up costing him, but Bryce played back once again. Looks like he was waiting for that pass, and he ends up being rewarded with not being rewarded, I guess, but ends up the puck going in the net without it being on his stick there. So and actually, he ends up hugging the player on the head there, as you can see, patting him on the head, which is funny. But Bryce here not ending up getting the puck, but keeping his stick on the ice. Bryce with the physical play here once again, or getting in the way. Not the most physical play there, but an attempt to hit, and he did slow up his opposition by just a bit as he tried to get by. But Bryce carrying it up into the offensive zone there, getting a good zone entry, gaining that zone with possession of the puck. I will say that his skating stride, seems like he doesn't crouch down that much. I mean, looking at it, playing it back. I mean, he's not a skater that, like I said, crouches down. More of a skater that stands a bit more upright, it seems like. But, I think like one thing that he could work on some more as the years go along is just proving the smoothness of the stride. Like he said, he's got some speed, and he definitely has showcased that at times in these clips. But you're going to see here Bryce battling with the puck. Good battle, keeps on it and doing a good job of using the skates to kick the puck up to his stick. And keeping possession of it, battling. He's going to battle here, but gets taken down. And Bryce here, like, this is what I mean. He can put some players on ice. Looks like his skating gets a lot better as these clips go along. He's here driving into the zone. Gets that to the slot area. Ends up not connecting, but a good drive by Bryce there in the zone. And you're going to see here Bryce giving it his all to chase down that puck. Gets the puck here. Nice pass reception coming in. A nice attempt to pass it to a teammate there, but just out of his reach. Pass was just a bit off. Once again, using his skates. Good job to be able to kick that up to his stick. We'll play it back once again. Kicks it up to his stick. Ends up making a pass. Not too sure where that pass went. Nice quick pass to the guy going up the middle there for Bryce, as he was the one who made that pass. And yeah, quick decisions from Bryce. Really keeping his game simple. Not really a fancy player. Going to see here Bryce coming into the zone. Driving in. Keeping good puck possession. And ends up getting a shot on net. I see Bryce here once again. Gets it into the zone. Flips it on net. And these are just some clips. Some more physicality there. Rubbing a guy out. Bryce now making a move to that backhand. I mean, he's got the ability in his game, actually, to make some good moves on some defensemen. even though it wasn't that evident early on in the clips that I was showing you in this video that I'm playing. But yeah, overall, I'm liking what I've been seeing throughout this clip from Bryce in terms of his ability to go east west, north south, and really being that skater that can be elusive out there, using his good edges to get by in tight spaces on these opposing players. And also some good stick handling in there as well to be able to make those moves and keep the puck a bit more protected as these clips have gone along. Like I said, I really like how Bryce uses his skates to kick the puck up to himself to hold possession, especially when he was battling, getting through some players earlier on in this video. We'll continue watching here. Bryce with the puck. And he's going to take it for a skate here, it seems. Chips it off the boards, can't quite get to it. You'll see here Bryce unable to protect that one in tight and finishing off there with another physical play. So overall, for this week's edition of Player Breakdown, seeing a player that's not afraid to get physical, just summing it up here. A player that, I thought as the clips went along, his skating looked a lot better. So I'm not sure if that's something he's been improving on throughout the season, but that is definitely something that he was improving on throughout these clips. Doing a better job of stick handling quickly, protecting that puck better. Like I said, using his skates nicely to keep possession and kicking the puck up to his stick when he does lose a bit of possession of it, when he does lose the speed that he's going on the straight line. He's able to not on the straight line, sorry, what am I saying, just his ability to, like I said, kick that puck up to his stick with his skates. Not the hardest shot out there, but like he said, he isn't the goal scorer that's expected to get goals, and he only has 11 goals this season on his team. But yeah, overall, I mean, this is a kid that there's some stuff to work on, like consistency in his game, I feel like. But in terms of just being able to protect the puck a bit better, like we saw earlier on in the clips, but that's something that got better as it went along. Yeah, some good things that we saw here from Bryce in this week's edition of Player Breakdown. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Player Breakdown will be returning next week on the Prospect Show, so stay tuned for that. But I want to give everyone a special thanks for tuning into tonight's edition of the Prospect Show. This is where we ended. Want to tell you guys that I will be putting the link down for my GoFundMe fundraiser, Graham's Mental Health fundraiser. Be sure to donate to it if you want. And I will say again that my views in that fundraiser that I expressed are my views and my views only, not ASTV's. But yeah, so special thanks to Bryce for coming on tonight's edition of the show. Not special edition of the show. Special thanks to Bryce for coming on tonight's edition of the Prospect Show. Special thanks to you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Prospect Show, and also a special thanks to the sponsor of tonight's episode in Caisse Financial Group, TOVI Hockey, as well as Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy. You'll be seeing Caisse Financial Group's commercial here to end off tonight's edition of the show. But yeah, the Prospect Show will be coming back next Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Be sure to tune in on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV, or on our website at astvproductions.com or amateursports.tv. Be sure to check out the guest list. It will be released on Monday morning, the day of the Prospect Show next week. So stay tuned for that on our Instagram at ASTV Productions, on our Twitter, and on our Facebook as well for the release of that guest list. But yeah, until next week, folks, on Monday, I'll see you then. Graeme Forsyth for ASTV Productions, host of the Prospect Show, giving you the salute and a peace out here on this Monday. Until next Monday, folks, have a wonderful rest of your Monday tonight. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe out there. Go enjoy the nice weather if it's nice where you are. I know that's warming up just a bit here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, so that's so nice. But get out, enjoy the weather. Spring is almost here. It'll be here before we know it. So I guess enjoy the snow while it's still here if you got a lot of snow where you're at. But yeah, folks, just have a good one. We'll see you next week on Monday. Until then, take care, everybody. Salute and a peace out once again on this Monday night here on the Prospect Show. Thanks again for watching, everybody. You take care.